Transforming pain into purpose. A Stoic approach. What if I told you your deepest pain could become your greatest weapon? Not something to escape, but something to forge you into someone no one can ignore. The people who rise from ashes are not lucky. They are strategic. They didn't cry for rescue. They sharpened their silence. They rebuilt, quietly, ruthlessly. And the most powerful among them were Stoic. They didn't scream their pain to the world. They turned it inward, shaped it, used it. Let me tell you a story. There was a man. He loved fully, trusted deeply, and it cost him everything. He was betrayed, abandoned, left with nothing but the echo of silence. Most people thought that was the end of him, but he didn't beg. He didn't fight back. He vanished for years, and when he returned, he was sharper, colder, untouchable, not because the pain was gone, but because he had weaponized it. Turning pain into power, the Stoic way. Pain isn't just suffering, it's potential power waiting to be harnessed. Most people see pain as something to escape. The Stoic sees it as raw material, a force to be redirected, refined, controlled. Marcus Aurelius knew this intimately. He didn't live in a palace of comfort. He ruled an empire in collapse. His beloved wife passed away. The Roman legions were stretched thin. Betrayals, revolts, and death followed him like a shadow. But instead of breaking, he sat alone in the cold darkness of his military tent and wrote. Not to complain, not to be remembered. He wrote Meditations, a private journal never meant for the world, where he turned sorrow into structure, heartbreak into clarity. He didn't run from pain, he studied it, he mastered it, and through that mastery, he ruled not just Rome, but himself. Whether you've been betrayed, humiliated, or broken, you're standing in the middle of the forge. The question is, will you let the fire destroy you or shape you? 1. Control the narrative, rewriting the meaning of your pain. Pain is inevitable, but the story we attach to that pain, that's where the real power lies. Here's a truth most people never realize. You're not just the one living through the pain, you're also the narrator. And the narrator gets to decide what the pain means. Think about Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years behind bars, locked away, beaten, forgotten by the world. He had every reason to come out bitter, angry, ready for revenge. But he didn't. Instead, Mandela stepped out of that prison and told the world a different story. He didn't say, "They destroyed my life." He said, "They gave me time to think." He didn't fuel a war. He laid the foundation for peace. He rewrote his pain into something greater than himself. He didn't deny the suffering. He simply refused to let it define him, and that's the core of the Stoic mindset. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." It's not just a nice quote, it's a blueprint. Because here's what most people do wrong. They relive their pain over and over like a broken record. They let the worst day of their life become the headline of their entire story. But the Stoic flips the script. Your pain can be the tragedy that breaks you, or the turning point that awakens you. Were you abandoned? Rewrite it. That's the day I learned self-respect. Did you fail? Say, that's when I stopped chasing validation and built real strength. Were you betrayed? Tell yourself, that's when I opened my eyes and shut the wrong doors. The pain happened. That part's real. But what you do with it, what meaning you assign to it, that's your weapon. That's your advantage. You can't control the past, but you can control the lens through which you see it. And sometimes that lens is all you need to turn pain into purpose. 2. Channel the emotion. Turn raw pain into precise action. pain is messy. It doesn't arrive with instructions. It hits you like a wave, unexpected, uncontrollable. And most people drown in it. They let the anger dictate their tone. They let heartbreak rewrite their worth. They let fear freeze them in place. But Stoicism offers something radically different. It doesn't ask you to ignore emotion. It asks you to aim it. Let's talk about Kobe Bryant. In 2008, the Lakers were crushed in the NBA Finals by the Celtics. It wasn't just a loss. It was humiliation, nationally televised. And Kobe felt it all. Rage, shame, frustration. The media doubted him. Teammates questioned his leadership. He had every reason to spiral. But instead of posting online or throwing blame, he went silent. Then he went to work. What most people don't know is that the very next morning, while others were partying or licking wounds, Kobe was in the gym, alone, at 3 a.m. He wasn't just shooting, he was transforming. Every missed shot in Game 6 became a rep. Every moment of disappointment became fuel. That's Stoicism in motion, not sterile, emotionless indifference, but focused redirection. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you are distressed by something external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and you have the power to revoke that at any moment." Let's unpack that. You feel something powerful, rage, heartbreak, humiliation. Your first instinct is to lash out, break down, or collapse inward, but that's exactly when the Stoic pauses. Instead of reacting, he examines, what is this feeling trying to tell me? What is it demanding I do? Then comes the shift. Instead of unleashing it outward, you compress it inward, refine it, channel it, and then release it in controlled, intentional ways. Practical strategy. When pain hits, grab a notebook or your notes app. Don't vent, don't spiral. Write exactly what you feel, raw, real. Then underneath, write one action you can take within the next 12 hours that serves your growth. It might be a workout, a cold email, a decision you've been delaying. Whatever it is, make it yours. The goal isn't to bury emotion, it's to weaponize it, because unchanneled emotion burns bridges, but emotion under control, it builds empires. 3. Create psychological distance. Step outside the storm. When pain hits, our first instinct is to react, fast, emotional, unfiltered. We send the angry text. We spiral into old thoughts. We say things we regret, or worse, we believe them. But what if you could pause time, not the world, but your perception of it? What if, in your darkest moments, you had the ability to step outside yourself and observe? That's what the Stoics mastered. It's not about escaping emotion, it's about gaining enough distance to see it clearly. Marcus Aurelius didn't rule Rome from a golden throne. He ruled from war camps, from plague-infested cities, from a battlefield of inner chaos. But every night he would write, not to complain, not to vent, but to create space between what he felt and what he chose to do next. That's why Meditations is so powerful. It's not a book, it's a battlefield journal, one written not for others, but for himself. He was stepping back, writing not as a victim, but as a strategist. And within those pages, he captured the Stoic tactic that few ever learn. View yourself from above, not metaphorically, literally. Imagine you're floating above your own life. See the situation that's hurting you, but from a higher altitude. Is this breakup, betrayal, failure really the end? Or just a moment, one frame in a much larger film? Because when you're zoomed in, pain feels permanent. But when you zoom out, you realize it's just data, information, a piece of something bigger. Here's how you apply it. When the pain hits, don't react. Don't send the message. Don't justify. Don't spiral. Instead, write. Describe the situation as if you were someone else watching it, not "she betrayed me." Try, "he experienced a betrayal that revealed who he could no longer trust," not "I lost everything," but "a chapter ended violently, but opened a door to reinvention." You're not erasing the pain, you're reframing it with perspective, and perspective is power, because distance doesn't make you cold, it makes you clear. Pain clouds your vision. Psychological distance sharpens it. And clarity? That's when strategy begins. 4. Build ruthless discipline. Become the version no one can control. Sometimes the best revenge is not revenge at all. It's silence. It's discipline. It's becoming so focused, so self-governed, that no one can reach the buttons that used to control you. There's a man I know, let's call him Daniel. He was loyal, generous, a little too trusting, until one day he found out his closest partner, the one he built everything with, had been undermining him for years. It wasn't just betrayal, it was public. It was humiliating. It was surgical. Everyone expected a meltdown. Some expected a legal war. Others waited for him to beg, explain, or collapse. But he did none of that. No Instagram posts, no rage, no passive-aggressive quotes. Instead, Daniel disappeared. Not to escape, but to evolve. While they were talking, he was training. Physically, mentally, financially, he rebuilt every part of himself with a single obsession. Never again would anyone have power over his mind. This is the core of Stoic dominance. Not emotional displays, not revenge fantasies, discipline, cold, quiet, ruthless. Marcus Aurelius said, "Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter." Because doing the right thing for yourself means creating systems no one can break. When you're disciplined, people can betray you, mock you, even try to destroy you, but they can't control you. Here's what ruthless discipline looks like in practice. You wake up early, not for aesthetic, but for edge. You train your body, not for likes, but for armor. You study, not to impress, but to become unfuckwithable. You act, but speak less. You execute, while others speculate. Each action becomes a response. Each habit becomes a quiet warning. I don't need to explain anything. My growth is the explanation. And the beauty. You don't have to talk about your pain anymore. People will feel it in your presence. They'll see it in your posture, your precision, your patience. You become the one no longer controlled by what happened. You become the one others now have to adjust to. Because pain may start the process, but discipline finishes it. 5. Silence as strategy. Not every pain needs an audience. Not everything you feel needs to be shared. Not every betrayal deserves a response. Not every wound should be put on display. In fact, some of your deepest pain should be kept sacred, private, untouchable, because in a world that's addicted to expression, silence is subversion. Silence is strategy. Marcus Aurelius lived through war, plague, betrayal, and the slow collapse of an empire. And yet, nowhere in his public life did he erupt, rant, or seek pity. He kept his pain in a journal, a leather-bound vault of thoughts never meant for the world. Meditations was written only for himself. He wasn't seeking sympathy, he was seeking mastery. While others vented and bled in front of crowds, Marcus bled quietly, into pages. He sharpened his thoughts, not his voice, because he understood something most people still don't. The loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest. It's the quiet one you need to watch. Why? Because silence breeds mystery, and mystery breeds power. When someone wrongs you, they expect noise. They expect the rant, the accusations, the explanations. And when they get nothing, just stillness, it makes them uncomfortable. Silence forces people to confront their own actions. It forces them to guess where you stand, how much you know, what you're planning. And that is power. It doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. It means you protect them. You process privately. You move in silence, not because you're weak, but because you refuse to give your enemy a map. Here's the Stoic application. Don't post your heartbreak. Don't argue to prove your innocence. Don't tell them what you'll do next. Instead, write it. Lift it. Breathe through it. Let the silence do what your words never could. Make them wonder. Because silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means everything is happening on the inside, in your mind, in your focus, in your next move. And when you re-emerge, quietly, strategically, stronger than ever, they won't know what hit them. Only that you were here, and then you weren't. And now you're someone else entirely. 6. Transform through legacy. Make your pain outlive. Some pain never fully goes away. It lingers in the body, in memory, in silence. But just because it stays with you doesn't mean it has to end with you. Pain, when transformed, becomes legacy. No one embodied this more than Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist, a Jew, a husband. He lost everything in the Nazi concentration camps, his parents, his wife, his future, gone, just like that. He had every reason to collapse, to give up on humanity. But in the bleakest place imaginable, he began to ask one question. What if there's meaning even in this? He studied the minds of men who were dying beside him. He observed what kept some alive while others withered. And he realized those who could find meaning survived longer. From that furnace of suffering came one of the most profound books ever written, Man's Search for Meaning. It has outlived regimes. It has saved lives. It has become a beacon, not of optimism, but of purpose forged in darkness. And that is Stoicism at its highest form. Marcus Aurelius said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." The Stoic doesn't just survive pain, he uses it to create something eternal. So what about you? What if the heartbreak you went through wasn't meant to break you, but to build something through you? Maybe it's not a book, maybe it's a business, a movement, a piece of art, a way of living that becomes an example for others. Or maybe it's simply becoming the kind of person who walks into a room and radiates unshakable presence, because everyone can sense you've been through something and came out forged, not fractured. Here's the question: will your pain die with you, or will it echo? Will it be just a chapter you endured, or a message you pass on? Because in the end, Stoicism doesn't glorify suffering, it glorifies transformation. And there is no transformation more powerful than turning your wounds into a path for someone else's strength. That's legacy, and that's where pain becomes immortal. Let's be clear, pain is a given. But weakness? That's a decision. You don't get to control who hurts you. You don't get to choose which storm hits. But you do get to choose, what will I do with this pain now that it's mine? The Stoics were not emotionless. They felt everything: loss, heartbreak, betrayal. But instead of drowning in it, they stood inside it and built something. They didn't escape the fire. They stood still, eyes open, until it burned away everything unnecessary. And what remained was something cold, sharp, focused. You have that same power, not through luck, not through comfort, through deliberate, ruthless transformation. Because the moments you thought were breaking you, they were actually shaping you. The silence after heartbreak, the humiliation no one saw, the breakdowns behind closed doors, they were all training grounds, tests, chapters. And now, it's time to flip the page. Every scar is a page in your playbook. Use it, not to seek pity, not to prove anything, but to out-strategize the old version of yourself, to build something so solid, so silent, so locked in, that no one, not even your past, can shake you again. So ask yourself, honestly, are you done talking about the pain? Are you ready to build with it? Because if you are, the next step is no longer emotional, it's tactical. In the next video, we'll go deeper into the Stoic system of internal domination. How Marcus Aurelius created an inner code that couldn't be broken even when Rome itself was crumbling. Click here now and take one more step away from who hurt you, and one step closer to who you were meant to become. If this video sparked something in you, share it. Drop a comment and tell me, what pain are you turning into power right now? Because your voice might be the one that helps someone else rise. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Not for entertainment, but because every week we go deeper into the mindset, the strategy, the fire. This is for people who don't want to escape life, but want to dominate it.